So these are the components we're going to install on this retrofit kit to correct the issues with the sealing around the lip of the AC to the roof. It's these 6 pieces. This is the outer ring part. It's the thinner metal and they're L-shaped. There are 2 of them. And then these components sitting on the outside of those rings are what are going to go inside the vehicle and come up from the bottom, so they'll be sandwiched the roof and the AC flange wheel. And there's these 4 pieces that go in from the inside, and like I said, they're the thicker pieces. You'll have 21 screws, washers, sealing washers, and then the nuts that go on the inside. I've got this vehicle in the lab. It's an 1140 and actually this roof is an 1130 roof, but they'll all go on the same. The first step is we're going to remove the cover, presuming that you've already got this on your vehicle. If you've got it sitting down flat, it might be a little more difficult because you've got to put the flanges on the inside. So I'm going to remove that cover next so that we can access the flanges on the roof. Now we have the cover removed. You have access to this flange. You can see the flange is where it attaches to the roof. Where the issue comes in is if this separates, because of these bolts being so close, in some cases where this header is high, it can flex down and that causes the separation on some units. So what we're going to do is we're going to put those long flanges up here next, and we're going to line them up so that we can drill the holes. The flanges, there's a front and a rear flange. For the top, the L-shaped ones, the front one has small holes all the way across. The rear one has larger holes on these 5, so you can identify that. We're going to put the front one on first, like I said, with the smaller holes. When we're getting ready we're going to use this as a template to drill. We're going to line up the outer edge of the roof flange with the outer edge of our supporting flange. And you can see in the back, it doesn't go all the way to the back because our rear flange will take up that space. Okay, so I drilled that front hole. It's a 1/4 inch hole using the 1/4 screw. It's got a screw with a flat washer and then the rubber washer. It's going to go in from the top through that hole. With that first screw in place, now we'll go ahead and drill another hole here in the back to position it, and then we can drill all our holes down the front and the sides. Now we have the front flange on. You can see the screws in from the side. This one goes in from the driver's side. The rear flange isn't on yet. When it does, it'll butt up against here. So we're going to put it on from the passenger side. You can see from the inside what it looks like with the flange. So if you burr up your headliner while you're drilling those holes, it's going to be covered by that interior thick flange. This one is the driver's side. You can see where the angle goes. The rear one will butt up to it. When it comes in, it goes all the way across. Here's the front flange. It stops here, and then the rear flange butts up against it. I'm on the passenger side. We'll make sure that it's flush with the back edge of the AC roof, and do the same thing. We'll drill this hole first, put a screw in, and then come back and go down the sides. I did the same thing as I did on the other side. I drilled one hole. I'm going to locate it with a screw. I just loosely put a nut on the back side. I do not have that inner flange on. And then I'm going to drill another hole, the front one, which locks this in position. When you're doing this, you can go to the other side, on the driver's side, where the rear flange goes all the way across, and make sure that it's out on the outer lip of the AC. Once you've got 2 screws in this side, the holes drilled, I'm going to go to the other side and drill one of these rear holes, come back, drill these 2, and I'll show you why we're doing that, because we're going to transfer to the inside. The screws that are underneath the condenser, we're going to drill from inside the vehicle. I've got these outer screws push through. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the inside flange and attach it on both ends with those outer screws. That will allow me then to come in and drill those 3 holes that are inaccessible because of the condenser on the roof. I'll drill them from the bottom. Those are the only 3 you need to drill on the inside, and then we can attach it. I have the rear flange up. I bolted it in with the outer screws, as you can see, and then I drilled these holes. When you're drilling these, be careful because the condenser is right above it. So you just want to poke through. You've got a few inches, but a smart move would be to put a drill stop on your drill or use a short drill bit so you don't get into your condenser and cause damage. Okay? Now I'll show you how to put these screws in from the top because they are up underneath that condenser. As you're putting these screws in, what you want to do is work your way from the outside in. You already had these 2 on and you had your underside flange on. So you're going to work your way in because the headliner is needs to be collapsed some. So you put the next one on and start snugging it up, which collapses the headliner. It makes it easier to put the next one on, which is underneath the condenser. Then you've got this middle one. I'm using a ratchet wrench to help me, and I screw it down as I have someone else on the inside hold the nut, and that way it pulls it down. It makes it a little easier. To gain access to the last screw you've got to put in, which is back behind this dryer, we're going to simply take these 2 hose clamps off. Then we can pop loose the dryer, which is attached with rubber hoses, and we can lift it up out of the way to reach in and get to this last screw that's just behind the side of the condenser tray. We'll zap it off. And remove those 2 hose clamps. Now we can get this up out of the way. Now we have room to get in there to that last hole. Last thing we're going to do here is we're going to put the hose clamps back through. They go through the hole on the bracket and then over the top. So you can see this hole back here. The clamp comes up through that and then over the top. Those are all snugged up. It's not critical, the spacing. There's plenty of room up underneath here. You just want to make sure that you got rotated so that everything's clear. You're not hitting on the metal anywhere. Next thing we'll do is put the cover on, and it's complete. As part of the kit, you're going to get this piece of bulb rubber, and it's going to go on the front of the cover, across the front. We had some instances where in a driving rain or when washing the vehicle, water could hit the roof and bounce up. This prevents that from happening. So I'm going to put it on and I'll show you where it lands. So you can see where we started. This is just a split bulb rubber, slips up over the edge of the cover. We're going to run it all the way to the end, push it all the way up onto the cover. So when we get done, it looks like that. And now we can put the cover on. I'll show you what it looks like once we get it on. So that's what that seal looks like once it's on the roof. It just prevents water from bouncing and going up underneath the cover, and then it can come down where the air filters are. If you're washing it real hard or in a hard driving rain, it can do that. That prevents it. Last step, button it up and you're complete.